Talking with famous people.
Hi, host Eric here. I was talking with famous people, and Eyeball here says, Edge says something smart, which is something about poo. It says, Eric, do a video with loneliness in the title and talk about any NI loneliness inside our heads. Huh. I think it's a good title. Susanna sent me a good video the other day, a good link to a video called Everybody's Fundamentally Lonely, or something like that. Subject I've talked about before, that I think there's a tendency for probably extroverts to get a little bit more lonely than introverts. I don't think that although the song was great, and I enjoyed it a great deal, I don't think its message, that the fundamental issue breaks down to loneliness, is exactly right. I mean, I think that for NE and NI, I don't know what NI would feel like. NE is a situation where if you've got it as your dominant function, then you engage in an ongoing process of thinking about what's next, what's possible, what that means, what this means, what other possible meanings you might make, what you might do. But you never really stop and go, okay, well, who am I in a still and quiet sense? I know who I am in an active sense. I know what it means to be as I do stuff. I generally know who I am in a conversation or in a video making like this. More or less. I make mistakes sometimes, but I try to do my best to be right across the board, which means to not make an audience member feel uncomfortable, to not make a little mistake like that, to have to go back and switch from A to An, is a bit of a stumble on the ear of a listener, and not the ideal thing. Maybe a minor mistake, but it's indicative of how little stuff has a way of snowballing. So now I'm talking about that mistake. Here it seems relevant enough to be worth referencing, but how much explanation to give about something like that? That's probably about enough. So, I mean, any is consumed with a group with managing that shit, at least for an EHP. So I want to manage my FE shit and or TI shit, and sometimes they come into conflict. Usually they do. If they're blended well, though, it's probably the most authentically correct. What people will often point out is that the problem is that I'm not trying to find common ground, and that's of course correct. If you are trying to find common ground, you can find some sort of way to accommodate the other person's point of view in ways that might feel as though they're being accommodated. For example, you could FE the shit a bunch and make them feel like you agreed with them in some way without actually agreeing with them. But I don't typically do that. I think a lot of people would. Sometimes I might. Well, like this morning, I stopped arguing with Courtney, right? At a certain point, I just was like, okay. I enjoyed. You had not a lot of opportunities to feel comfortable being like, well, that's a good job, sport. There's a comfort with that that's okay. It's not awful. It sounds awful. It's not awful. It's just how reality is, and it's okay. It's like not everybody has to be all fucking subtextually fluent. Anyhow, regarding NI, well, I don't know what NI is like, really. I don't know if it's lonely to be an introverted intuitor or not. I would imagine that if you are intuiting the fundamental truths of things, well, I think one of the truths you probably intuit is that we're fundamentally alone. That fundamentally lonely song video seems to me as much an NI expression of the world as anything else. And any expression happens when you're not moving and shaking anymore. You know, I'm 738 or 783, and that's a mover shaker type personality. I like the descriptor. As soon as when I read it for the first time, I was like, hooray! I was happy to be a mover shaker. I wanted to be that type. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, right? I just looked at the things, read the numbers, understood the system of how you figure it out, like, and I was like, okay, well, I'm 7, and then 8, and then 3. And I looked up on Wikipedia. It said mover shaker. I read the description of it. I read all the descriptions, and I would have chosen that one if I had gone the other direction too. And the reason is because I feel most meaningfully alive when I'm in interaction with other people. A lot of other people. So the loneliness, well, there are times when I get existential terror, and it's not loneliness. It's about the passage of important things without my notice, so that people get older and situations change, and what once seemed a stable reality that one could forever rely upon. As a child, one moves through a world that seems quite stable because time moves very slowly. As you get older, time moves faster. And as you get into your 40s, you realize the stable environments that metaphysically comprise the foundation of your life narrative, that those have long since crumbled and faded away from actual reality. And what's left is an SI representation of it that's wholly inadequate to capture what it was. And you know that you have experienced something and had it and bypassed most of the reality of it, and the reality of it is long gone now, and you can no longer access it. And that's the experience of existential terror for me. The notion of losing things that are important when you're not paying attention. So when I feel the full scope of that, that's standing in front of the void and peering into the depth of all that is horrible and awful about existence, namely the prospect of the very worst imaginable losses occurring to each of us inevitably. Bum 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 bum. Maybe we want to comment on that high drama speech.
Talking with famous people.